election right now during the war, what proposed Trump, it's very risky way, because we have huge challenge from outside of the country, invasion and this is
Sure.
in the same time to do an election during the war, we can destroy the country from inside.
Well, let's speak to Mayor Klitschko, Vitali Klitschko, who is the mayor of Kyiv. A warm welcome to Times Radio. Thank you so much for being with us, Mayor Klitschko. Today, of course, marks 3 years since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. I'd love to know what's been on your mind, what you've been thinking about on this day.
Yeah, it's right now 3 years. Right now, 3 years of blood, destroying the 3 years. Every Ukrainian tried to survive, and it's difficult to explain about our emotions, what happened since the last 3 years. It's big tragedy for our homeland. It's not just big tragedy for Ukraine, it's also a big tragedy for millions of people around in Europe. And also it's Russians not understand right now the big tragedy also for Russians, because the war bring the stability, the war bring the destruction in every country, and it's worse what can happen with our country. Please don't forget, it's biggest war after the Second World War in Europe. The front line, more than 1,000 miles, and every day died people, and we actually have to do it everything. If you ask every Ukrainian what you wish, everyone give you clear answer. Everyone have a dream when peace coming back to our country, to our homeland.
Mm. But what does that peace look like? I note that you say peace rather than victory. Do you think Ukrainian hearts and minds have settled more on peace, on trying to establish peace, than necessarily coming out as victors of this war?
It's most difficult question, how look in the peace, but definitely we have to find solution, and also this solution have to not destroy our national interest from one side, and the every peace very important to have a guarantee, because to make the peace for a short period of time, and in couple of months later or a couple of years later the war can beginning again. And that's why the 2 points: national interest and the safety guarantee for Ukraine and also for whole Europe.
Did you think that we would be here 3 years ago? Do you think we would still be in the midst of this awful bloody war 3 years later?
I'm sorry, I not understand clearly your question. Can you repeat one more time, please?
Sure. Did you think that Ukraine would still be in this war after 3 years? What do you think about the amount of time that has passed?
I give you answer from different side, and everyone have to understand the reason of this senseless war. The reason we Ukrainian want to be the part of European family. We want to build democratic country. We want to be the part of European Union. The reason of this senseless war, because Putin never accept our wish and told Ukraine was part of Russian Empire. And it's also not secret, because Putin want to rebuild the Russian Empire and looking at Ukraine as part of Russian Empire. We're fighting right now for our future for our children, to want to build democratic country. It's the reason of this war, and that's why my personal opinion, in round table negotiation table have to be involved also European country, definitely our partners, and negotiation table have to be United States and also Russia, and it's very difficult task to find solution. And
So, so you're not against the United States and Russia sitting down to try and find a solution. Should they be doing that separately, or should Ukraine be involved all the way? Because there are arguments for and against. The United States feel that they have something to offer Russia, that there are negotiations that need to happen there first before Ukraine comes to the table. But how do you feel about that?
My personal opinion is it's not fair. It's not fair to talk about Ukraine without Ukraine, first point, and from safety guarantee depend the safety guarantee not just for Ukraine, also for European Union.
So who do you want that safety guarantee from? Do you want the US to be able to provide that to Ukraine?
In negotiation table have to be United States, have to be Russia, have to be Ukraine, and also our European partners.
And look, we've heard from the United States overnight. The UN is set to vote on rival resolutions today, one from Ukraine and one from the United States, both geared towards trying to get an end to the war on a significant day, of course. It's understood, Vitali, that a draft of the US text makes no reference at all to Ukraine's territorial integrity. What do you think about that, and what should a peace deal look like?
Difficult to say. It's definitely have to be some solution is from this negotiation round table. Right now, exactly the same question give everyone to everyone, and how looking the peace. And I thought it's very important point. Any peace have to be safe, national interest, and also guarantee. And without that, it's difficult task. Definitely, it's not easy. It's not easy task.
Sure. What about territory, though? If we're to focus on that, I think one of the parts of this negotiation centers on the fact that really Russia walk away with the territory that they currently have, and Ukraine walks away with the territory they have, but having conceded more territory to Russia, having failed to get Crimea back and other areas too. How do you feel about that? Would this be, in terms of territory, is this an acceptable point
I
to
don't
walk
give.
away?
I'm not ready to give you clear answer for this question, but it's have to be a negotiation. I tell you, I give you answer very emotionally. We actually have Budapest Memorandum, where Ukraine, as third country in the world with nuclear weapons, we give up our nuclear weapons for territorial integrity guarantee with our partners. And right now, everyone forget about that. Also, please don't forget, the United States was some part who signed the Budapest Memorandum. And right now, we forget about that. Right now, the way to make negotiation which give the guarantee, peaceful guarantee for years for Ukraine. And that's why we talk about the NATO. NATO give a lot of safety to Ukraine. If not NATO, it's very difficult task, and we have to find a way.
Well, look, sorry to interrupt, but another element to this peace deal is that there is no chance Ukraine is going to have NATO membership. In fact, President Zelensky said this weekend that he'll step down as president in exchange for peace, or if Ukraine can join NATO. What do you think of that move?
About NATO membership, we talk pretty long time, and not every NATO partners agree with that. And if not, we have to find another way, but with guarantee. Guarantee is a key word. Is a key word. If not NATO, which one? And we expect this answer from our partners, because it's not secret. Without our partners, we can survive.
Why do you think Zelensky said that? I mean, essentially, if Putin said, okay, step down.
Listen, you give me question what Zelensky said. It's a good question to Zelensky, not to me. My opinion, I
Do
tell
you
you.
think about it? It seems a gamble, or is it just a silly thing to say because it seems incredibly unlikely that one thing you will get from this peace deal is membership of NATO. That is, I think most agree that that is not for this peace negotiation. That is sadly not for this time.
If not, it's the task to our partners about the guarantee. If not NATO, which one? Let's talking about the proposals, because without support and guarantee from our partners, we can't talking about stability in Ukraine. Please don't forget, Ukraine, the biggest country in Europe, and from stability of Ukraine depends stability in the whole region, also in Europe. And that's why the main task to everyone who will be participate in our negotiation table. And that's why it's very important, critically important to have negotiation table our European partners, because they interested to have Ukraine to stabilize Ukraine.
Yeah. How long should Zelensky remain as president? Donald Trump's called for elections. He's called Zelensky a dictator. It is clear Donald Trump does not like President Zelensky. Would it actually benefit a peace deal if Zelensky was to take himself out of the picture?
It's sleepy way to talking what told President Trump, what told Zelensky. From my personal vision, um, election right now during the war, what proposed Trump, it's very risky way, because we have huge challenge from outside of the country, invasion and this
Sure.
in the same time to do an election during the war, we can destroy the country from inside, and that's why
Yes.
step by step, it's first of all the peace, and after that we will be ready to talk
I think
about election.
I think my perspective must be what is going to get Ukraine the best peace deal. And at the moment, Donald Trump's sort of working alone on this. He said some awful things about President Zelensky, and Zelensky has offered to stand aside in exchange for peace or NATO membership. If there was an election, do you think you would run for president? Is that an ambition of yours?
You give me question about, listen, right now, a lot of people
I understand now, but if there were to be elections,
I give you a
is
clear
part of your
answer.
political ambition?
I give you clear answer. The question, Ukraine survive or not, still open. And to make right now the plans about some ambitions to be the president or not, to take some position, it's not smart to talk about that. First of all, we have to save the country. First point. And after that, we can talk about political ambitions, about talking about election. It's logically.
And has Zelensky approached this correctly? Looking at where we are now and the words of Donald Trump, how does Zelensky best deal with Trump? Or do we need to, practically look at the way that Volodymyr Zelensky is dealing with the situation we're in right now and change behaviors?
My personal ambition is the government of national unity. It will be a great way to do that. It's just my point of view.
But that's not how to negotiate with Donald Trump, is it? And those are, of course, kind words. Those are good and honourable words. But at the moment, unity is not working.
We need unity. Unity inside the country, also unity around Ukraine. From unity depend a lot, depend the future of our homeland, depend the future of democracy in Ukraine, and not just in Ukraine. If Ukraine lose, because I explained the reason of this war, if Ukraine lose against the Russian Federation, it's lose whole democracy.
But I would argue that unity is not sitting around the table with Donald Trump and Russia. So, you know, it is honorable. It is, of course, we must talk about unity on a day like today, but that is not getting around the table with Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin.
Listen, to be honest, from morning to evening, we're here in Ukraine talking about that. And not just in Ukraine, I was in Munich Security Conference. We talk about that in London, in Brussels, in Munich, in Germany. Everyone talking about that, and we have to find all together the answer for this question, because right now nobody in the world give clear answer for your question what you give me right now.
We heard from Frederick Merz, who is to be the new German Chancellor. He has said that Europe must be prepared to operate alone without the United States. And I wonder your thoughts, Vitali Klitschko. I wonder your thoughts on a European army. Should European nations stand alone, independent of the United States, based on this experience with Donald Trump?
Clear rules in the life. Everyone respect the power, and nobody pay attention to weak position. And that's why European Union have to be strong. Strong economically, and also if we're talking about strong army, it's also very important.
Do you think that you would like to see a European army, an army of European forces?
Yeah, it's actually discussion was in Munich Security Conference about army, and Donald Trump pay attention because the all European countries spent not so much financial resources to build the armies, and that's why its answer we have to be strong, also military, and not aggressive but strong.
Okay. Look, thank you for speaking to us. Really appreciate it. Vitali Klitschko, Mayor of Kyiv. Thank you.
Thank you very much.